What's going on here, guys? We had a colossal, and I mean major, breakthrough in the system. So I'm going to try and film this as stably as possible, show you exactly what's going on. We still have the radiant energy wireless power effects. So I'll explain what's going on. I have a super capacitor here. 14 volt DC, 3000 farad, 81.6 watt hours with a built-in BMS charge maintainer. I have the charge maintainer hooked up to it, plugged into a watt meter, shows what we're drawing for power. So this is the super cap that powers my transmitter. So we go super cap, it goes into a very high-end DC to DC boost converter. I can vary this from 0 volts DC to 120 volts DC. This powers the transmitter. Okay? So we're powering a transmitter with a variable DC input. And our resonant receiver coil, once earth grounded on the L2 secondary through a capacitor, which is a blocking device to avoid detuning, we get a power output greater than the transmitter. We then turn that power output into DC, send it into a solar charge controller. In the high frequency, the solar charge controller recharges another 14 volt, 81.6 watt hour super cap, which powers an inverter to run household loads. And the impressive thing is, watch how fast this system recharges now. The inverter is powered on. I'm going to switch this very power hungry 200 watt bulb on. 200 watt bulb. This is the remarkable thing. The super cap acts as a tank. So that bulb is on, giving off tremendous amounts of heat. And watch how fast the high frequency from our resonant receiver coil recharges the super cap. Almost immediately. So that's a breakthrough right there. And again, I'll run it again. Super cap acts as the buffer or the storage for the energy. The super cap is acting as a tank of storage for the energy. Our transmitter's input, 5.40 watts. We're still green on this end. This is the super cap that powers the DC boost converter that runs the transmitter, consuming 6.3 watts on the input on the maintainer on that end. And I have self-looped this and it works. When it's self-looped, you can't run large loads. All you get is these wireless lights while it's self-looped. And if you get too close, you'll load the system down. But anyway, the extra power is being sucked up through the earth ground, like in a heat pump type fashion, in the receiver coil. Now I'll shut this off, and watch how fast our battery recharges. I mean our super cap. I keep calling them batteries because they look like batteries, but they're super caps. And if I shut the inverter off, it charges even quicker. I should say 13.2 any second now. I've been messing with this thing all day. And we'll do a room tour too. See, look at that, it's already recharging. And while that bulb runs, we still maintain radiant energy effects with the system. So, we'll do a room tour. Nothing under the table. Devoted years of my life to this work. My toolbox. The extra power comes from an earth ground connection. This just connects to the earth ground. That is an electrically dead outlet. We just tapped into the earth ground. If you don't know what that is, you probably shouldn't even be watching these videos. We'll do a room tour. So again, to sum it up, this super cap runs the DC boost converter, which gives us fine control over our transmitter's input. we have a grounded receiver coil that receives equal energy that's required to run the transmitter, if not more. And that high frequency is converted to DC, runs a solar charge controller, and because it's high frequency, it recharges the super cap super quick, and we can run very large loads for about 5 to 10 minutes, and it recharges within seconds to a few minutes. So I'll demonstrate that again. Large loads now run. Tremendous heat. I can't even look at that. We still have wireless power effects. We're still green on the maintainer. The super cap acts as a tank of storage for the energy. And I went over all the Don Smith stuff again, and it started to make perfect sense. Still have radiant energy. But the super cap is acting as a tank. Still maintain all the effects. Radiant energy effects, because the super cap acts as a tank. Can even take this over here. Even still lights on the weird spots. Got that. So, again, I'll shut this off. We'll watch it recharge. And it recharges really quick when you shut the inverter off, because the inverter does have a power draw. Hopefully you can see that recharging. Super cap recharges incredibly fast. Holy shit. I've been doing this all day, and it still never ceases to impress me. And we're still green on this end. The maintainer is still green, drawing minimum power. And again, we still maintain the radiant energy. Just be careful not to short anything out. As you see, our connections are just clipped on with alligators back here. I'm running out of space, so probably already at 13.23 now. As you see on the charge controller, it says solar input. It thinks the receiver coil that's charging it is a solar panel, but it still works really good. So anyway, quick room tour. Transmitter's consuming 5.40 watts. Locked. I locked the current in a hyper resonant state with the receiver. We'll do a quick room tour. There's nothing I could have in here hidden anywhere that would light that bulb the way it was working. So, I work in a very confined space. Nothing under these desks. This is the only power from my room, is that one outlet, like I said, and it branches out everywhere. This is my cat. So, what's very important is what occurs is, I think, the large plates in the supercapacitor. Once you get a resonant receiver coil that seems to be outputting a power level equal to your transmitter or a little bit above it, you have to put that into some type of tank, a large tank, either a supercap or a battery, and that large tank will recharge very quickly, and then from that tank you run your inverter. I think that's the key, and that's where a lot of people failed. So that's probably the key. And I'll turn the system on again. This inverter is very noisy. I got 3 of them on a sale for like 50 bucks. And as you see, our tank is what runs the inverter. And that's a tremendous amount of heat and light. And again, that's how quick it recharges. I shut the inverter off, it'll recharge even quicker. Yeah, look at that, it's already at 13.2. That's insane. Again, we're going to do a duration test. I just don't want to burn the wires. Damn. So that tank is running everything. To sum it up, We have a super cap that runs the transmitter. Our receiver coil is earth grounded through a capacitor, which is a blocking device to avoid detuning. And then that gets turned to DC, goes into a charge controller, and the charge controller charges up another super cap to the point where it doesn't blow it. And then that super cap acts as a tank buffer that runs large loads and an inverter, and it recharges very quickly. I could probably make a pulse circuit here for AC, or an AC timer circuit, and it would recharge everything very quick. Another room tour while it's on. Still green, still maintained. You can look around, there's absolutely no hidden wires anywhere. I can move this back without hopefully knocking anything down. There's nothing behind it. God damn, that's bright. Yeah. So, I smell something smoking. I'm gonna have to disconnect it in a minute. Again, there's nothing under the desk. So this is a breakthrough. And we still maintain the radiant energy. And I'll switch this off, and we'll see how fast it recharges. Look how fast that thing recharges. It's gonna go to 13.2 soon. That is crazy. The high frequency recharges it super quick. I'll open my door, show you there's nothing going on outside, and keep in mind the transmitter is on. So, there's one more I wanted to show you. We're already at 13.2, gonna be 13.3 any moment now. That's still green on the input, and we're not even consuming power now. Look at that. So I got the transmitter circuitry so efficient, our input super cap isn't even drained anymore. Like that should be impossible what I'm doing, but it's not, because we've entered a separate power system, open system, earth grounded. This will be in the PDF soon, so it's a major breakthrough. Again, we'll turn it on. God damn, that's bright. I can't even look at that. And we'll see how fast it recharges. And the inverter is giving me a shock because the transmitter is on, and I'm touching the inverter, which I'm getting zapped off of. I had a, where'd that little light go? Right here. Yeah, but I'm getting a small shock off the inverter. As you can see, the radiant energy is present everywhere. That's what I was getting shocked from. It's even in the solar charge controller. Jesus. That is giving off heat. Yeah, no, we are consuming. Can it show? Can't show, but it's saying 150 watts. Shut this off. Instant recharge. Look at that. Look how fast that recharges. That's amazing. You need that buffer tank, either a super cap or a battery, connected to your resonant receiver coil with the correct charge circuitry. And keep in mind, our input to the transmitter is locked at 5.70 watts. So, I'm using very high-end components now that are like over 95% efficient. I'll go in the hallway. Which I can still receive my radiant energy in the most random spots. So this is a major breakthrough. On the sink. See where we're at. Oh, look at that. It's already pretty much fully charged again. Absolutely phenomenal. We'll do the test again. I'll make sure these wires aren't smoking. Ooh, I got burned a little. It was stuck to it. Shit. Alright, I'm gonna turn it on again. I can't even look at that. It is so bright. Like, I'm gonna have to start wearing sunglasses in here. Jesus, dude. That is, like, blinding. Input to the transmitter locked at 5.70 watts. Input is still green on the input to the supercap maintainer. And I will show you the output of my resonant receiver coil that charges the supercap that acts as this tank buffer that runs the inverter and the bright bulb. Whew, you could cook off that. Off. And it recharges very rapidly. I want to show that effect again. See how the supercap is drained? And then watch how quickly the radio frequency recharges it. It's just phenomenal. The high frequency recharges it so fast. Again. And I could run this in bursts to recharge the input in theory. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, already at 13.1. So the output at this resonant receiver coil, which is rectified with 1N5817 diodes with a resonant cap and a cap coming off the secondary and earth grounded to avoid detuning, is the output is at about 45 volts DC at either half an amp or 750 milliamps. And that goes into our solar charge controller, which recharges the supercap extremely quick, and that supercap runs the inverter, which powers up our large loads for a short time. And it can recharge super quick. I'm going to make some kind of pulse circuit for this spot. And keep in mind, everything is still green on the input cap that runs the transmitter, because we're involved with a separate electrical system now. The receiver is not physically connected to the transmitter in any way. It's a separate, open, wireless, high-frequency power system that extracts extra power from the earth, similar to heat pumps that are over 100% efficient. So, again, I want to do a reading on the output right here. I'm going to try and set up my meter one-handed. So, I'm set it to voltage. I'm going to try and film this all one-handed. I'll put the meter right here. So our output from this receiver coil is... Really don't want to put the camera down for anything. I got the wrong leads. Hold on a second. Okay, these should be the correct leads. Our voltage is 13.23 volts because it's connected to the super cap, which charges wicked quick. I'll disconnect this, which goes to the super cap, and you'll see the output voltage of our receiver coil. Come on. See, 38 volts DC. So the output of our resonant receiver coil is almost 40 volts DC. And the current is error, of course. The high frequency messes up the most expensive meters, even when you're in the area. I gotta switch my leads again, hold on. So, I'll show you the current now. So we're getting 39 volts at that resonant receiver at about half an amp. It'll show. Come on. And it's gonna fuck up the meter. It is over half an amp at the output. I'm gonna shut off and try again. And this was an expensive meter. That is annoying. Error. Try it one more time. Anyway, the output here is over half an amp DC at 40 volts, 39 or 40 volts. This meter out of here, I'll reconnect up our the solar charge controller. Give you a close-up look at everything again, and I'm going to end the video soon. It's going on too long. So again, to sum it up, this is the input super cap. Input super cap goes to a DC boost converter, 0 to 120 volt high-end one, to vary the input to the transmitter. Transmitter outputs wireless power. We have an earth-grounded resonant receiver coil that picks up an equal amount of power the transmitter is putting out, if not a little bit more. I think it's 10% more. We earth-grounded the L2 of the resonant receiver through a capacitor, which avoids detuning and gives us a boost of power to the system through a sucking effect from the earth, like a heat pump. And with that, goes into a solar charge controller, which charges up our super cap, which acts as a tank for the power, and because it's high frequency, it recharges the super cap super quick, and we can run large loads that recharge super quick. Our input is still locked, 5.70. Watch how quickly it recharges. Absolutely phenomenal. This breakthrough will be in the PDF now. And we still got radiant energy. Radiant energy is everywhere. Even in the USB ports of the inverter. On the super cap. I keep calling them batteries, but they're super caps. They look like batteries to me, but they're super caps. We'll do it again. And I'm not making this video go over 30 minutes. That way I'm showing you, I'm doing all these duration tests so no one can say I have something hidden anywhere. I've had multiple people check this out. I've had researchers, friends, family all check it out today. This breakthrough happened late last night. I'm going to have people sign affidavits next, detailing this. But there's nothing magical at all going on here. The fact you can have a 600% heat pump, you can design a high-frequency electrical system that acts also as a heat pump in a resonant receiver coil fashion that will recharge a super cap extremely quick. Look how quick that recharges. If that were a battery, that would not be able to recharge that quick. So, I'm going to end this video soon. I'll run it again a few more times and show you. And keep in mind I have the utmost efficient inverter you can get. The utmost efficient DC boost converter you can get. Our input maintainer is still green. Drawing 6 watts to stay maintained from the wall. 6.2 watts. Come on, show. 6.4 watts. This is the input supercap that runs the boost converter that powers up the transmitter. Our receiver output is rectified. Very high, fast, high-speed switching Schottky diodes, 1N, 5817. Earth grounded the secondary through a cap to avoid detuning. Goes to a solar charge controller. Goes to a big buffer, which is a super cap. And the inverter is what runs our large loads through the super cap. And the solar charge controller just prevents us from overcharging the super cap and blowing it up. They say it's got a built-in BMS, but I don't trust it. You can only get these super caps from Brazil and China, and they seem kind of sketchy. So, but they do seem to output what they're rated at, which is good. So, shut this off. See it recharging super quick. Do it again. Now, there's no way in hell a battery could do this, unless it's like lithium ion, and not for these types of durations and charge up that quick, that rapidly. There's no way in hell a battery could do that. You can't discharge and charge batteries that freaking fast. The key is the super caps that act as a tank. And the correct way to use this circuit is to actually shut off the inverter, because it does draw a little bit of power from the super cap. That would detract from its charging just a little bit. Probably about 10 or 15%, I would guess. And that's already at 13.1 volts. And whether that's on or not, we still have wireless power. So, I'm going to put this right here, see if it'll stay lit. And whether we do this or not, we still have wireless power. It doesn't affect it. Doesn't affect it at all. Breakthrough's been made. Oh god, that's amazing. Freaking thing just recharges so fast, it like snaps back up. Phenomenal. This is going in the PDF. Again, we still have the phenomenal radiant energy effects. I think this system now is about ready to become portable, but I gotta figure out how to heavily earth ground the receiver coil, the secondary of it. That's the only issue, because all the extra power comes from a very heavy earth ground. It's a regenerative, high-frequency wireless power system, similar to a heat pump. Everything in nature is self-sustaining. Why can't we make electrical systems to be self-sustaining that are pulse-based? Our input cap is driving it. Apparently we're consuming 0.0 watts. It's maintained. We're in a state of hyper-resonance. So, shut that off. It just recharges so damn quick. Phenomenal. I'll show that again. I'm gonna make this video a little long so people can't say like it's a trick of some kind. So keep in mind all that's running. I'll zoom out. Again, we'll look under everything. There's nothing hidden anywhere. You're welcome to come here and see it for yourself. God damn, I can't even look at that. There's nothing back here. Again, this extension cord, which goes all around the perimeter of my room, connects in over to there, because that's the only working outlet in my room. It powers this little power bar. You can see where it goes. It literally just powers powers the watt meter. It powers that power strip that has a watt meter plugged into it that runs the maintainer. And I'll also show you how that is a dead outlet. I'll put my meter in AC mode. So our meter's in AC mode. You'll see how this is a dead outlet. Meter's in AC mode. This is a dead electrical outlet. I'll jam my prongs in there. There's no AC voltage, and my prongs are jammed in there. I showed this in my older videos where I plug in my hot glue gun, my lights. Nothing works up there. I plug in the probes over here. I could just disconnect this to show you the SuperCat maintainer. Our system is completely run now. Look at that. The resonance is feeding back into itself, keeping itself going. So here we go. I'll show you that our 120 is only up here. Well, I had it in current mode. Whoops. Oh, that's the end of that meter. But anyway, our 120 is only up here. This thing is still maintained. The SuperCap that runs it. I'll plug this back in. So, again, I'll show you how quick that recharges. 11.8 volts. And again, we recharge super quick. I think you get the idea. This vid's gone on long enough. And I'm going to have to buy a new multimeter. Mine is really fucked up from the RF. And I ran that for a while. I'll do it one more time to shut the trolls up. There's no way in hell this could be run by batteries. SuperCat, baby. And that acts as the tank for our buffer of high frequency energy. So that's that. You get the idea. Gonna remove this. This is detuning a few things. Again, another quick room tour. And believe it or not, for some reason, the cheap meters work a lot better with this type of stuff. I don't know why. Still at 0 volts on the input, maintained. I even unplugged that at one point, so in the video. We're locked at 5.40 watts. So that's the new system. It's amazing. And keep in mind, I sell this as a wireless power kit. I don't know if I'll sell that system. I might. It would probably be $1,000 or $1,500. I might sell this whole thing as a kit. You have to earth ground the L2 of the receiver coil. It'll probably come with instructions. I think I will sell this whole thing as a kit. It'll be the $1,500 kit, and it'll blow your mind. And I'll sell different versions of it. I'll sell the simple science demonstration kit, $250. This kit that can run huge loads for $1,500. And all you need is some kind of pulse discharge circuit to recharge the input, and it will keep going cyclically indefinitely. As long as you earth ground your L2 through a capacitor, you will get a gain in power in a heat pump type fashion. So that's that. That's what I wanted to show. Thank you everybody who supports this. The PDF will be in the link in the description. Details fully how to build all these systems. Describes everything I've discovered. The link to my website will be in the description. I've got a Patreon. You know, this is real research. Feel free to like, subscribe. We're trying to crack all the secrets of forgotten technology. So feel free to like, subscribe. Get the PDF if you want. Feel free to replicate these on your own. It's amazing. And thank you. Thank you to everyone. We'll end it again by running it one more time. Jesus. It was bright. Just don't want this falling down. All that's going. We still got the radiant energy. Even on the USB port, that's weird. Because the super cap acts as a tank, and boom, bounces back and recharges quick. Phenomenal. But yeah, you get the idea. So I'm going to end that video here once it says 13 volts. And good day, everybody. It's getting really exciting. Take care.